Right, a very good evening and welcome to Network. My name is Spumelele Zondi. Now, South Africa was voting in the last week. Congratulations on an election with no major problems. The Nigerian government is still under fire for failing to work hard enough to find over 200 abducted girls. Last week, we told you about the hashtag #BringBackOurGirls. That hashtag continues to gain momentum. Stay tuned, we'll talk more about this later in the program. Happy Mother's Day to all mothers, especially my mother. We are live. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook and Twitter. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Let's get to your social media and technology news. Close to 300 Nigerian girls are still missing after they were abducted by militant group Boko Haram. The Nigerian government has faced a lot of criticism for appearing to be doing nothing about this. A social media campaign started by a young Nigerian lawyer has gone viral and even got American First Lady to tweet as well. It's hashtag #BringBackOurGirls.
From Nigeria to the United States to South Africa and everywhere in between, a simple hashtag has sparked a global movement called Bring Back Our Girls. People all over the continent, including here in South Africa, have been reacting to the kidnapping of some 270 schoolgirls in Nigeria by the militant group Boko Haram.
We decided to do this march after a tweet and after all the posts and reposts that have been happening over the last couple of weeks. And a wonderful lady by the name of Lerato Nkosi, who's around here somewhere, tweeted and CC'd Nziki, myself, Griselda and Azania from Power FM. And we said, okay, well, enough it is enough, let's do something. And this was Monday and we said, let's do a march. And Thursday, this is where we are now.
The campaign lacked impetus until the traditional and new media in America caught onto it. And then this. The most famous first lady in the world adding her voice. Michelle Obama posted a photo of herself holding a Bring Back Our Girls sign on Instagram. The teenage education advocate for girls, Malala Yousafzai, also spoke out against the violent terrorist group in Nigeria. So did our very long-standing champion for women and children's rights, Graça Machel, who made a comparison to the missing Malaysian plane, saying,
"If the world can mobilize all the means possible to search for a plane carrying 239 passengers, certainly it can also mobilize the means to find our girls. They deserve nothing less."
The hashtag #BringBackOurGirls has been retweeted around 2 million times. But there has been some discussion of how far hashtags help and whether online campaigns can make a difference. American and British assistance is already on the ground. They will be offering critical satellite surveillance over the vast forest the girls are believed to be held. American surveillance drones have not yet been cleared to fly over the area for unclear reasons. But with all said and done, it is clear everyone involved in the search will have to act fast before the girls are sold and scattered all over Africa, as Boko Haram has threatened to do.
We'll get back to that story later in the program, and hopefully those girls can be returned home. After a marathon 14 hours of voting on Wednesday and 4 days of ballot counting, the 2014 elections in South Africa have come to a successful ending. But the voting process could have been quicker, both in terms of queuing and counting. According to the South African State Information Technology Agency, SITA, the country is more than capable of conducting the 2019 general elections fully electronically, but is the Independent Electoral Commission, IEC, considering it.
There are around 24 countries in the world that have implemented electronic voting, most notably Brazil, India and Switzerland. Brazil, for example, uses electronic voting machines at polling stations. Counting happens electronically and within minutes after the polls close, and then the results are released. It seems South Africa too could pull off e-voting as soon as the next general elections in 2019. This is according to SITA.
It should be possible by the next elections, but you need to make the call that you want to go down that route and in fact start investing in that direction.
Another form of electronic voting takes place online. This is a riskier form as it requires tighter security measures to enable voting from the comfort of your home. So far, only Switzerland and Estonia have been able to pull this off successfully.
If you are going to go the route of online voting, one, I talked about the broadband. You would need to make sure that there's alternative ways in which information is transmitted, so that if one line is not operating, the other line would take over and make sure that that happens.
Yeah.
We've known about system crashes for many, many years. It should be possible for us to make provision for that and make sure that we can operate effectively.
In such a situation, everyone must have internet access. That is not the case here at home. From its side, the IEC says, given the efficacy of the current voting system in South Africa, it needs to be very clear about the reasons for adopting e-voting technology in the near future.
South Africans will be disappointed to learn that they won't have phones manufactured in the country, as we previously reported. This is because developers CZ Electronics says it's selling 75% of its stake to Mint Electronics.
Earlier this year, we were excited to discover that South Africa will have a local smartphones manufactured from their own backyard. We invited Dr. Thabo Letlhokwe, CEO of Mahale Telecoms, to come and share with us the exciting news. Mahale was one of the companies involved in the manufacturing process.
In Africa, there's been hundreds of millions of phones that people are using to access the internet and for telephony, none of which are actually made here. And for us, it just didn't seem right.
Network was promised a launch of the said phones around mid-February this year. Sadly, the partnership between Mahale and its partner, CZ Electronics, did not materialize. CZ Electronics, which owns a high-tech manufacturing facility, announced in the last week that a company called Mint Electronics had acquired a 75% stake in its business. Last year, Mahale agreed to buy 51% of CZ Electronics, pending the fulfillment of certain conditions. This included a contract to supply the South African Bill smart devices to a network telecoms operator. Mahale is seeking legal advice on the matter.
The African Blogger Awards winners have been announced. Winners are predominantly from South Africa, followed by Kenya and then Nigeria.
Following scores of blog entries, the African Bloggers Awards winners have finally been announced.
There's been over 500 entries, which also came together in a very short space of time. And we've been spending our time sifting through those and looking at what Africa really gets up to in the blog space.
When he paid us a visit, Murray Legg pointed out that a large number of blog entries were by Kenyans and Nigerians, an effort that proved fruitful as Kenyan blogger Njanja walked away with Africa's Best Blog Award.
I think also interestingly is onto a lot of the blogs you go and Google at the top then says, this page is currently in Swahili, do you want to translate it into English? So very strong presence from Kenya and from Nigeria.
Most winners are from South Africa, like Best Instagrammer Gareth Pawn. Unfortunately, no winners came out from the Best YouTuber and Twitter categories. The next African Bloggers Awards will take place in February 2015. For more winners, visit AfricanBloggersAwards.com. I guess now is the time to get those computers and tablets ready and get the blogging started.
Every 2 years, countries that have a presence in outer space meet to discuss the industry at the Space Operations Conference, SpaceOps. It's the biggest event where the latest operations in technology, trends and best practices used in the field are showcased. It's currently being hosted in the Californian city of Pasadena in the United States of America. Now, South Africa wants a taste of that. The South African National Space Agency, SANSA, is also in Pasadena. Over the last couple of days, they have put on a bid to the Space Ops Committee to host the event in the year 2018. SANSA's ground station is based at Hartbeespoort in Gauteng and specializes in all aspects of space mission control. The host country of Space Ops 2018 will be announced tomorrow, Monday 12 May, wishing the South African bid all the best. It's reported that Apple is in talks with American rapper Dr. Dre to buy his Beats Electronics company. Dr. Dre announced this on Twitter and Instagram and then deleted the messages. Probably the most recognized Beats product is a pair of headphones. It's reported that the deal Dre and Apple are talking about is worth over 32 billion rand. This would make Dr. Dre an instant billionaire. Actor, model and musician Tyrese Gibson was with Dre when the purchase was announced. Tyrese posted a video of them celebrating on Facebook. Oops. China's e-commerce giant Alibaba has finally filed for a public offering, as they've been expected to do so for a while now. Producer Lebo Sejake tells us more.
Now that China's Twitter-like microblogging site, Weibo, recently got listed on the New York Stock Exchange, the country's, or should I say the world's largest e-commerce company, has followed suit. Alibaba Group Holdings Limited made headlines this week with their initial public offering news. This was one of the world's most anticipated listings yet. Popular for connecting Chinese manufacturers with international consumers, Alibaba has come a long way since its inception. The company was started in one of China's biggest cities, Hangzhou, by its charismatic CEO, Jack Ma, in 1999. Unlike its American competitors, eBay and Amazon, Alibaba not only offers basic online shopping services, it also consists of a group of internet-based e-commerce businesses, including business-to-business online web portals and data-centric cloud computing services. It is reported that Alibaba makes more revenue than eBay and Amazon combined. News of the company's New York Stock Exchange listing were welcomed with glee by players in the market. As for what the future holds for the mighty Alibaba, only time will tell.
Twitter shares could be sold for the first time in the last week since the company made its public offering in the New York Stock Exchange, but their price tag plummeted extensively. The stock fell by nearly 20%, making it the biggest share price drop by any tech company. One of the people offloading shares was Twitter's chief operating officer, Ali Roughani. He sold 300,000 of his shares when the lockup period expired. After the break, we discuss militancy and anti-militant campaigns that find themselves online and in social media. Dr. Kofi Kouako from the University of Witwatersrand is already in studio to discuss this with us. Don't go away. Welcome back. A video of a Boko Haram leader, Abubakar Shekau, talking about how the group will sell the Nigerian girls they kidnapped in a school appeared online. The American actors and musicians have started a campaign where they say real men don't buy girls. Let's take a listen to Abubakar Shekau.
Kujibane a tashi a boko ‘yan mata ku je ku yi aure zan maimaita wannan magana har yanzu. Tegu ni na kama ‘yan matan naku zan sayar a kasuwa wallahi akwai kasuwa na sayar da mutum Allah ne ya ce in sayar me shi ne ya umurce ni in sayar zan sayar da mata, ina sayar da mata.
As mentioned earlier, the hashtag #BringBackOurGirls has gained momentum on Twitter. People from all over the world are using the medium to call for Boko Haram to release the more than 200 kidnapped girls. Last year, during the Westgate mall attacks in the Nairobi capital in Kenya, the Nairobi capital, Somali militant group Al-Shabaab was also on Twitter explaining why they were killing people in that country. They were giving a blow-by-blow account in real time as the attack was happening. Joining us in studio to discuss why and how militant groups use the internet and gain those who use it to try and fight militancy. We are joined in studio by Kofi Koako, senior lecturer at Wits University, who specializes in government communications and scenario planning. Hello, and thank you for being a part of our network.
Thank you.
Why do you think militant groups use social media and the internet to basically publicize what they do?
I mean, in terms of strategy, communication and miscommunication are at the heart of a powerful communication strategy. And militant groups have understood that. Anybody who's got a grievance, discontent, or happy joy uses any miscommunication tool to make a point. And militant groups are using this to make a powerful point. What's really different this time is that the internet is a convergent platform that allows everybody else to put what they want to put on there. And if it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. But what really grabs the attention are two elements: the dramatic effect of it and also the power of it. And that's what makes the difference today.
And do you think governments are quick to respond when this happens?
In fact, African governments are very far behind. In fact, they need a quick bootstrap. They haven't been able to understand what I call the nexus between terrorism, technology, and Africa. And it's happening at the behest of people who are dissatisfied. So the best way to get the African leaders to pay attention is to put it out, to make it visible in the open. And until such dramatic things are made in effect, African leaders hardly put up a fight or come up. They're very not proactive. They're always late in responding.
Now, when someone posts stuff on the internet, they risk being found. Do you not think that these militant groups are worried about this?
No, in fact, the most important thing is not about the militant groups themselves, the quality of the idea. And when the idea is already out, it spreads like fire. And ideas are very powerful. When they're already out there, it's very difficult. Even if you killed 100 Boko Haram militant or Al-Shabaab militant, the most important thing for them is that the idea survives and then helps to recruit more militants. And you've seen now all kinds of franchises operating. It was a very small geographic element in Nigeria, in the northern part of Nigeria, with Shekau. Now it's spreading across Cameroon and Chad and so forth, and that's what makes it very difficult.
We've also seen ordinary citizens who are trying to fight this use the internet. We've been talking about Bring Back Our Girls. Do you think this is the right method to do it, the internet?
It is an excellent start. I mean, especially for the nature of that kind of crisis. If anybody else is in power, like if you're on Graça Machel or Mrs. Obama, all the best, because what it does is it helps to really upgrade the kind of fight a lot of Africans have been having, because in fact the context is that in Nigeria, abducting and killing people and hijacking is a business, and there's a whole economics around it. It's very profitable. It makes it so easy. In fact, the Minister of Finance's mother was abducted in Nigeria, so it tells you the extent to which this thing is gone. So what is important is all these people on board is very good. It's a little late, but it's still very useful for African girls.
You mentioning that a lot of African governments are very slow to respond, even if the information is out there online. What can they do to catch up now?
Well, the first one is to have policies around it. They need to. This is a very urgent issue. They need to treat it as a very urgent issue. And it's not just about girls anymore, because in fact, the truth and the context, the real reason, the rationale behind this is a lot more that the poor people, the people are dissatisfied, and most of these grievances are not being tackled very, very quickly. So what's happening is most of the dissatisfied people are finding a platform to express those discontent. They may not have the proper reason, but at least they're getting their messages across, and those messages, based on what we're seeing, are really hurting most of us today.
Would internet policy not cause controversy, though, because that's like governance of the internet?
Well, the governance of the internet's got to be coming from everybody, civil society, government themselves, business, and everybody else who's involved in it. And so parents themselves have a chance to make their point in those. But the policies don't only work by themselves. You need to execute them, you need to put them into practice, and be very firm on making them happen so that these kind of things don't happen out of the blue.
All right. Kofi Kuako, Senior Lecturer at Wits University, thank you very much for being a part of our network tonight.
Thanks very much.
All right. After the break, we discuss Bitcoins. Stay with us.
We did that last time.
Thanks. The clip. We'll put it up online and we'll let you know. Sorry? Sure. Sure. We have reported a bit on the online currency Bitcoins. Tonight we'll be finding out more about the cryptocurrency from South Africa's Bitcoin exchange company BitX. Joining us live from our Cape Town studios is Sonia Cornell from BitX. Hello and welcome, Sonia. Now, what are Bitcoins exactly?
Well, Bitcoin is really something that was originated from about 2008 when someone called Satoshi Nakamoto published a draft paper on the internet about cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin in particular. And in 2009, Bitcoin was established when he actually mined the first Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, you know, is being classified as various things. It's really a software protocol that is open source, so anyone can use it and see it. It's public. Similar to, you know, the internet or email protocols, and it's used as, currently it's used as payment for services or goods rendered, or to send money from one person to another.
You say anyone can use Bitcoins, but how easy is it to use them?
It's actually very easy. You can go onto an exchange, for instance, like BitX, South African local exchange, and you can buy Bitcoin. You can use it at several merchants. In South Africa currently there are about 30 merchants that accept Bitcoin as payment for services. In America obviously there's a lot more merchants that accept Bitcoin. And you know, you can use it to send money to people from one end of the world to another. So, you know, if you're sitting in South Africa, you can send money to someone in Dubai, and it's instantaneous. As fast as an email is sent to someone in Dubai, that's how fast Bitcoin will be received in that country.
We remember last year that there was a website called Silk Road, which was a drugstore, really. Were Bitcoins really used that much before Silk Road, and has that helped their popularity?
I think Bitcoin has only really become quite popular since 2013, when the price of Bitcoin reached over $1,000 per Bitcoin. You know, Silk Road was unfortunate. It did happen in 2013, but like any other payment method in the world, whether it's cash or credit card, there will always be fraud, money laundering, you know, illegal purposes used for money. So, yes, I think, you know, Bitcoin was used before that, and it will certainly be used after that. It has survived Silk Road. It has survived other incidences in the industry that's happened since Silk Road, and I think it's really here to stay.
It is an online currency. Does it abide by laws of any country?
Well, currently, you know, South Africa has said that they are watching it quite closely. There's no regulatory framework for Bitcoin currently in South Africa. It has no legal status in South Africa. You know, governments are watching it to see what other governments are doing across the world. Countries like Russia has, for instance, banned it. China is also, you know, passing quite a lot of strict laws against Bitcoin. But then again, these countries have always passed, you know, strict regulations against anything in their country, whether it's political or anything else. So, you know, Bitcoin does have restrictions in certain countries, but for the most or the majority of countries, the governments are saying, let's watch Bitcoin and see what happens in other countries.
And if I want to get started, where do I go?
You go to BitX. If you're in South Africa, go to BitX. So that's bitx.co.za. You create an account, which will instantaneously create a wallet. And you can then either buy or sell Bitcoin. You will have to link your South African bank account if you want to buy Bitcoin. It's really, really easy.
All right. Sonia Kunel from BitX, thank you very much for being a part of our network tonight.
Thank you.
All right, and that's all we have for you. We compiled a video of some of the people campaigning for the release of the more than 200 Nigerian schoolgirls who have been kidnapped by the militant group Boko Haram. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook and Twitter, News Network at sabc.co.za, an email from Ms. Pumela Lezondi and the rest of the team. Have a good one.